was a beautiful day. The sun was shining and the sky was a deep blue. I was out riding my horse, enjoying the fresh air and the scenery. Suddenly, my horse stumbled and I was thrown off. I hit my head on a rock and everything went black. I then saw a light and I started to walk towards it. The light got brighter and brighter until I was standing in a beautiful garden. The sky was a deep blue and the sun was shining. I found myself floating in a strange place. It was a place between life and death, a place where souls go after they die. I was surrounded by a bright light, and I felt a warmth and peace that I had never felt before. In the distance, I saw a figure walking towards me. It was a Japanese monk wearing traditional robes. He had a kind face, and he seemed to radiate wisdom and peace. When he reached me, he asked me what I had seen. I told him about the light and the peace, and how I felt like I was finally home. The monk nodded and smiled, and then he asked me if I had any questions. I thought for a moment, and then I asked him about heaven. The monk looked at me and said, "Heaven is a place where we can be reunited with our loved ones who have passed away. It is a place of infinite love and peace." I nodded, understanding what he was saying. Then I asked him about hell. The monk's face grew serious and he shook his head. Hell is a place of suffering and darkness. It is a place where souls are tortured for eternity. I shuddered at his words, and then I asked him about reincarnation. The monk smiled and said, "Reincarnation is a cycle of life and death. We are born into this world, we live our lives, and then we die. But our soul does not die with our body. It is reborn into another body, and we live again." I thought about his words, and I realized that they made sense. I had always believed in reincarnation, but I had never really understood it before. But now it was clear to me. The monk then asked me if I had any other questions. I thought for a moment, and then I asked him about my horse. I wondered if she was okay. The monk smiled and said, "Your horse is fine. She is waiting for you." I nodded, understanding what he meant. Then I asked him if I could stay in this place for a while longer. I was not ready to go back to my body yet. The monk nodded and said, "You can stay here for as long as you like. But eventually you will have to go back. Your time in this world is not over yet." I nodded, and then I thanked the monk for his time. He smiled and said, "It was my pleasure. I hope we meet again." The monk told me that I had experienced a near-death experience. He said that I had been lucky, and that not everyone is so fortunate. He told me that I had been given a second chance, and that I should make the most of it. The monk then showed me around the garden. He showed me the beautiful flowers and the peaceful streams. He told me that this place was a place of peace and healing, and that I could stay here as long as I needed. And with that, he faded away and I was alone again. I knew that I would see him again someday, but for now, I was content to float in the light and peace of this place. Eventually, I said goodbye to the monk and walked back into the light. I felt refreshed and new, and I knew that I had been given a second chance at life. I was grateful for the experience and vowed to make the most of my second chance.